Hi, my name is John Thomoshiri. I'm a career coach. Today, I want us to talk about how to prepare for an online interview and how to increase our chances of landing an online interview. So let's start with how to prepare for an online interview. And the first thing, of course, you want to do is you want to test the technology. You want to practice with a family member or a friend. You want to make sure you have, a backup of the backup. If you're using Wi-Fi, you want to make sure you have internet backup. Like you have two devices that you can log in for the interview. You want to make sure that you've tested the mic, the speaker. You've tested the internet to make sure that there's a good connection and that the connection can be able to cater for high resolution for a live video. You also want to make sure that like you have a professional screen name. You see how if your screen name is something like Spicy Sugar 2013, it's not going to give a very good show. So you want to make sure that you've tested the technology and that everything is a-okay. You want to make sure that that you've chosen an appropriate location. Maybe at home, like you have kids and there's going to be a lot of distraction. You could choose to have a different location, and even that location, like you want to make sure that you've tested and to see that like when you're doing the live video, then like everything is fine. You want to make sure that you practice for the interview. And when I say practice, is you're practicing your interviewing technique. How do you answer the technical questions? How will you answer the softer skills questions? How will you answer when they ask you about salary? Do you have any questions for them? So you need to make sure that you have practice to ensure that your interviewing technique is good. You also want to make sure that that you've gathered the relevant material that you need. So maybe you need a copy of your CV, you need the questions that you're going to ask them, you need your notebook, you need a pen. Make sure all these things are near you. It's very important that you prepare your questions beforehand. It's going to be very unfortunate if they ask you, do you have any questions for us? And like you go blank and you tell them you don't have any questions. So make sure you have good questions that you want to ask them at the end of the interview. So let's also talk about how to increase your chances of succeeding in an online interview. And the first thing is you want to dress appropriately. Dress for success. When you dress well, you'll be more confident. You want to make sure that you are making sure that you're forming a connection with the person interviewing you. Forming a connection when it's a one-on-one interview is easier, but if it's online, it's much harder. So you need to work harder, and working harder is number one. Is it's testing your technology, is doing a test run to make sure everything is working well. Because you see, if you guys cannot hear each other, or one person, the internet is they don't have a very good connection, then you're going to there's going to be a break in communication. So you need to make sure that you have tested the technology to make sure that you're forming a good connection with the person who you're interviewing with. And then the other thing is you need to relax during the interview. You want to make sure you're seated upright, you're looking straight into the webcam, like you're just forming that connection with that person who is interviewing you. You also want to make sure that you do a follow-up. So immediately after the interview, you want to just send a thank you note and say thank you for giving me this chance to do the interview. And then after that, like follow up, because they're going to tell you you're going to get back after like maybe 3 days or 2 days. So you could do a follow-up email. It's very easy to pass an online interview, and it's very easy to fail. Very easy to pass because you could have sticky notes on your laptop, just in case there's certain things that you feel you can forget. You can write them down on a sticky note. It's very easy to fail because it's more difficult to form a connection. But if you do all these things, I'm talking about testing the technology, about preparing, about practicing, and practicing how your interviewing technique is, you're going to increase your chances of landing the job. That's all that I had for today. I hope this video has been beneficial. Thank you, and see you next time.